Definitely, and you know that's the whole thing. This person stopped and shot at officers. What do you think the response is going to be? Of course, the officers are going to make an effort to take this person into custody and without having some sort of shooting at the end. But the fact of the matter is, this person has already shot at officers. And that just kind of, Dennis was bringing it up early on, changes the entire landscape of the pursuit. These officers, they want to bring this thing to an end. Of course, they're worried about the public. The odds that this person might shoot at civilians, of course, there's always that possibility depending upon what happens. Right now, this crazy reckless driving, 100 miles an hour on Bellflower, it's unthinkable. And now to have somebody clearly has some sort of agenda or issue, thank goodness he's making his way onto the freeway. Like I said, I've got a 7-second delay, but we're seeing him make his way back onto the freeway. At least there's no more intersections to deal with. But still, if he gets into traffic, if he gets blocked in, what's going to happen then?
Yeah, Stu, we've witnessed him going upwards of 110 miles per hour on the freeway. So that could very well happen again as traffic is relatively light. For now, anyway, we see this is right near Long Beach Airport, the airport area there. And we did also hear, to your point, your observation, Stu, that when this driver stopped in that alleyway, that he indeed did fire off some more shots. Again, we don't know if anybody has been hurt, Stu. As we talk about this, though, we can tell you that there are Corona PD units behind this person. There are also plenty of airships up there as well, because that's the way to track this very armed, very dangerous and armed suspect. Stu, when we talk about bringing this to a conclusion, though, I mean, we often talk about spike strips and pit maneuvers, but neither of those strategies seem like they would work right now, or if they even be feasible to do. I've brought this up many times in the past, and to be a law enforcement officer, especially in a pursuit type of situation, there are so many protocols, there's so many variables, and again, it's a lot of times the officers' hands are tied because they have to worry about safety. They have to worry about nobody getting injured. Even that suspect, they're not going to try to do something that's going to blatantly, injure even a suspect that has fired at officers. And
so there's all that. So there's all these variables in there for the officer to act accordingly. And then, of course, spike strips, not a chance. Pit maneuver, there is a possibility, even at a higher speed like that. But the fact of the matter is that, they're not going to do it at 100 miles an hour. You can see some law enforcement right behind that vehicle right there, and that is what I was trying to bring out earlier. Just because this vehicle is going at 100 miles an hour and we don't see the police in the shot with Skyfox doesn't mean they're not chasing them. They are there, and they are not going to let this guy go.
Yeah, let me jump in here, Stu.
How this is going to come to an end. There's always that possibility runs out of fuel. That you were really just grasping at straws with that. The chances are he's going to get himself into a situation, maybe not in an intersection, please not in an intersection, and not slamming into some innocent driver. Maybe he'll get stuck on a curve or something like that, or the tire will go out because of the hard driving or poor driving. But right now, this is just going, and the more it goes, the higher the opportunity, the higher the chances are going to be that somebody's going to get hurt. And nobody wants to see that. And this suspect clearly shooting at officers, and then that weird random spot that kind of it makes you kind of wonder whose home that is. That this vehicle just randomly stops and shoots out the window. It was just really bizarre to see. It does definitely seem like there was some sort of report, or you saw a flash. So you got to wonder what was going on. And continuing there on the streets, maybe that suspect is looking out the window and realizes, hey, while I'm on the streets,
Stu, we have that video. In fact,
that might be part of it, but he's got to know that helicopters above, those officers are nearby. And again, after shooting at officers,
Stu,
what do you think is going to happen as a suspect? It just makes you kind of wonder if this person has some sort of death wish, and just hope it's just going to, if it happens, and hopefully it doesn't, it'll just be the driver of that pickup.
All right, Stu. Well, Christine, I do believe that we have video. He was just referring to the moment that he opened fire on officers when he stopped. It was about 20 minutes ago. Oh, this is the alleyway. So it's still hard to get. We're zooming in, and apparently there were shots fired right there. This happened about 5-10 minutes ago in an alleyway. And this is, again, in the Long Beach, Lakewood area, not far from the airport. We're going to show that again, and now we're back live here on our bigger picture, Cherry Avenue and East Pacific Coast Highway in the Poly High district, to be very, very specific, according to our Extreme Nav. The driver just weaving in and out of traffic, trying to stay out of custody. It was only on northbound 405 for maybe a mile and a half maybe before getting back onto surface streets. We've seen for a large part of this now more so on surface streets than we have on freeways. Very dangerous, speeds upwards of well beyond 100 miles per hour at times. And then at one point, to use exactly what you said, Christine, at least this armed suspect, had the decency to stop when there were dozens of school kids trying to cross the street. And he did let them cross the street safely, thank goodness.
So we are, again, watching this pursuit on these surface streets. And Marla, we've talked before about suspects going to areas that might be more familiar to them. And you noted that suspect got on the freeway. Wrong direction again here. Very scary for that motorist, unsuspecting. Got on the freeway for a short point of time after being in the Downey and Lakewood area for a little while, and now is in the Long Beach area after getting on the freeway for just a minute. I'm wondering if this driver is a little more comfortable in this Downey, Long Beach area.
Yeah, and that's interesting to note. Also interesting is that this was picked up in Chino, in the city of Chino.
Yeah.
Chino PD picked this up, picking up speeds here suddenly. It's almost like a cat and mouse, which we've seen many times. Speeds up to 70 miles per hour blowing through that intersection. Got a green light on that one, thank goodness. And Chino PD, then we have Ontario, we have Riverside, we have Anaheim. It is a multi-agency effort given the severity, the extreme behavior of this reckless driving suspect, hit and run suspect, and also carjacking suspect. So apparently carjacked somebody.
And Marla, our team is saying they just saw shots seconds ago out the window again. So that would be the third time.
I was wondering if those shots were being shot at the vehicle opposed to coming from the vehicle. Maybe there was an officer nearby there. I'm trying to look right now at the side of the truck, and maybe you guys have a better vantage point, but the windows didn't go down, and there was clearly what it looked like to be two shots.
Right.
Yeah, hard to tell on that one. The speeds here, so scary on these surface streets as we are getting closer to rush hour traffic. Reminder of kids being out of school. You know, I am surprised that this driver hasn't got on different freeways. And again, I get back to the idea that perhaps this is an area in which they feel comfortable. As we are looking at this, we want to remind you that the driver did come upon kids walking in the crosswalk, a lot of them, which makes me think they were probably near a school, perhaps getting out of school, very close. Let's go ahead and show you that video where the driver, as you noted, Marla, my comment, where the driver had the decency to let the kids cross the crosswalk. Look at the group of students there. Look at the top of your screen. All of those kids, all of those young people in this crosswalk, the driver there, at least allowing them to pass. And then there's more there to the left. So the driver stops, and they are completely unsuspecting. You see them kind of jog ahead to get out of the way. Law enforcement now seen in the picture, guessing these kids might grasp that there's something going on with all that police, all that law enforcement right there behind the driver. The driver's still pausing there. Very scary. Remember, this driver had